What is going on, everybody? Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year to you. I just watched these NBA Christmas games and I was pleasantly surprised at the quality of games that we got. I recently made a video about how the NBA was unwatchable, so I was really skeptical about the quality of games. I don't know who's going to be sitting out. Are these games even going to get played? Some going to get canceled? I don't know. I actually was talking to a friend and I set the over-under on the number of watchable Christmas Day games at 2.5. I was expecting a lot more blowouts, a cancellation or two, but I should have known better. The league was going to find a way to get its money. So I'm going to go through these games in order, give my reaction to them, and provide a letter grade for how I thought the game was. So starting out with Hawks and Knicks, let's just get this one out of the way, man. I don't really have a whole lot to say about this game. It was the worst one of the day, in my opinion. More than anything, why and when did this become a rivalry? When I missed this. Like, I know they had that playoff series that was basically Trae Young's coming out party, and he was hooping, and those games were kind of competitive. But like, the Hawks still won in 5 games, and now it seems like, oh, this is the big rivalry in the East, and it's really not. It's really just a meme rivalry. It comes down to the F Trae Young chants and the whole Bing Bong thing. So it's kind of just whatever to me at this point. And it's also funny how Knicks fans were waiting until the very last second of the game to chant F Trae Young because of PTSD, and I can kind of relate to that as a Sixers fan. Some other things about the game, I really like Quentin Grimes. I think he's really got starting point guard potential, so stay on the lookout for him. Kemba Walker was recently named the NBA Player of the Week, and good for him, man. Like, I feel so happy for Kemba. At the same time, I'm kind of mad at the Knicks because I feel like, obviously, I don't think he should have been completely benched. I know he's not the prolific scorer he once was. He's never been a defender. He's never really been a good pass-first playmaker guy. But I think the Knicks took advantage of Kemba's niceness. Like, Kemba was, I think 2 or 3 times he was the NBA's best teammate or something. He won some kind of award like that. And, after everything he does, he's always smiling. He's always looks like he's having a great time out there. But I think the Knicks took advantage of him because they knew that he was going to have a positive outlook on this. Personally, I would be pissed if I got benched, especially after, I'm the hometown kid. I still know I can hoop, and now I'm just going to sit on the bench and back up 2 young guys. I don't know, man. But it's good to see Kemba back regardless. And he got a triple-double, too. It was kind of funny. Like, towards the end, Taj Gibson stole his rebound, and then he was wrestling with his own teammate Alec Burks for a while just to fumble out of bounds. And it ended up being like a Jason Kidd type triple-double, like a 10-10-10 type thing. But, it's still cool that he got it. And Obi Toppin got his between the legs East Bay dunk, this time in a win. So, I don't know. This was kind of a garbage game. It got out of control. No Trae Young. I'm going to give this one a D. Second game of the night was Bucks and Celtics. This was a pretty good game. DeMarcus Cousins is actually pretty serviceable. He looks good out there. And shout out to the Bucks for being really smart and picking him up when Brook Lopez went down, because he definitely would have been signed by now due to all the COVID things. So that was a really good move on their part. The Celtics were winning most of the game, but in the back of my mind, let me know if you felt the same way. It kind of always felt like the Bucks were still kind of in control. And also, I know that the Celtics have been really struggling to close games out. I didn't feel like the Bucks were ever out of control of this game. We had some crazy Greek freakish blocks, plays down the stretch. He blocked a Robert Williams alley-oop. The whole game, the Celtics would build up a lead. The Bucks would cut it close. And it was even an 11-point game with under 5 minutes left. And the Celtics still found a way to lose this game. I like Robert Williams a lot. He's active. He gets some crazy highlight putbacks and blocks. But I don't know about the Celtics, man. When it comes down to closing time, they just do a whole lot of iso ball. They rely a lot on Jalen and Jason to kind of take them through, and they're capable, but it doesn't look very good, and it's not reliable. I'm not sure if they're that level of players who you can consistently say, take me to the promised land every single game. I'm just not sure if they're at that point yet. But I don't think the answer to the Celtics' problems is splitting one of those guys up. I think you might have to part ways with Marcus Smart and try and get you a real playmaking, facilitating point guard. So yeah, Giannis is the greatest help defender of our generation. And at this play at the end, after Tatum absolutely cooks Chris Middleton, he has his wide open path to the basket. Giannis uses his Hall of Fame Intimidator badge to force the pass and makes a ridiculously clean block on Robert Williams under the rim. So this was a pretty good game. You got to see Giannis dominate, and the Celtics crumble is always a good thing in my eyes. So I give this game a B+. Now, moving on to what I believe was the best game of the night, mostly because it was a preview of what the Western Conference Finals is going to look like. Suns and Warriors. Otto Porter saves the day, but more so than just Otto Porter, this is more of a testament to the Warriors' system and their style in basketball. It shows how much trust that the team, the coaching staff has in one another, because it's like that. It's always been next man up mentality for the Warriors. People are always stepping up, hitting big shots, led by their quarterback on offense and their leader on defense, and Draymond Green, who I think is still underappreciated and easily the defensive player of the year so far this season. Steph hit this impossible step back. He was being double teamed and he was actually being guarded for the step back. It reminded me of how some of those teams used to guard James Harden back when that step back three was such a threat, and he just managed to hit the shot anyway. Just greatest shooter of all time, not even particularly close. I thought Jonathan Kuminga had a really nice game. I'm definitely buying his stock. He's active on defense. He's got freak athleticism, good size. But, the IQ is not quite there yet. But he's only like 19, 20 years old. And the Warriors' defense is really complex and creative. And it could take several years to learn this system because, like I was alluding to earlier, it takes a lot of trust in your guys to know that you're going to cover your guy, know that you're going to have my back, knowing when to not overhelp. These are a lot of subtle things that all contribute to the best defense in the league, in my opinion, right now, which is the Warriors. So Kuminga's going to get a hand of that before you know it, and he's going to blossom into a star. It was good to see DeAndre Ayton asserting himself on offense. When he turns to that left shoulder and shoots that right hook, it's really tough to stop. I would like to see them kind of run a little more through him because he's very capable of that. What else? CP3 is so surgical, just a magician, masterful with the basketball, especially in the pick and roll, point guard, even to this day. JaVale McGee was a really good pickup for the Suns as well. I think that'll really help them in the playoffs because, Dario Saric simply is not a center. He's a forward. And they should never really have to play Frank Kaminsky in big minutes when it really matters. But in all fairness, he was actually pretty decent when he got the opportunity. But I think JaVale McGee is definitely a huge upgrade at the backup center position. So, like I said, I was extra excited about this game because it's going to be the Western Conference Finals. And I give this game an A, man. This was a really great game. Now on to Lakers and Nets. So, good game and close game are two different things. I thought it was a close game for most of the game up until the third quarter where the Nets just kept going on a run and they ended up being up by 20 to start the fourth quarter or something like that. At the end of the day, Lakers lose their fifth game in a row. And in that stretch, LeBron is averaging 31, 10, and 5 on better than 50% field goal percent shooting. What this man is doing is just not normal. So maybe the days of LeBron dragging bad teams to the finals are behind him, but nobody in NBA history has ever been this great for this long into their career. He may not be the best at any particular aspect in basketball, but he's like one of the best at everything. And that's why he's my GOAT. But that's a whole different video. I'll get into that in a separate topic. So the Lakers lose, but hey, at least Westbrook got a triple-double, right? Man, this is why this game made me sad. I hate how diluted the triple-double is, man. I feel like we need to include extra criteria to count towards a triple-double. Like you need at least a plus 10 in your plus minus, or at least a base level efficiency indicator. 4 for 20 and 13 points and minus 23 from Westbrook. I miss the days when LeBron was the only one in the league consistently getting a triple-double. But, and he really popularized the whole league preferring players who do a little bit of everything. I think he's kind of underappreciated in that aspect because he started that trend for real. On the Nets side of things, I never really lost faith in James Harden despite the slow start to this season. I play 2K a lot, and his rating at the start of the season was like a 96, and now it's at an 89. I'm like, all right, Ronnie, let's not get disrespectful here. He's still that dude. He's just not KD. Patty Mills was still in absolute Olympics mode. When they're down a man, his light just gets greener, and when he's on, he's really tough to slow down. And it helps when Russ is the one guarding you. He just he gets caught ball watching and lost track of him on a few screens and doesn't always give his 100% effort on defense. But LeBron in the postgame, he seemed pretty optimistic. And, if he's optimistic, I guess I can be too. They actually fought pretty well in that fourth quarter. They shouldn't have gotten down by 20 in the first place, but they erased a 20-point fourth quarter lead. And that's a testament that they don't usually show a whole lot of fight. They don't have a whole lot of guys who are down to get nitty gritty. So no KD, Kyrie, no AD. And just because the game got close late doesn't really make up for a lot of the other kind of garbage I saw in this game, but still not bad. I give this a B-. Now on to the last game, Jazz and Mavericks. So this is a game that really exceeded my expectations because I was actually very, very impressed with the level of fight that the Mavs showed without Luka Doncic. They were like 14-point underdogs entering that game, and winning in Utah is not easy at all. That crowd gets crazy, that elevation starts to hit your lungs a little bit, and when Utah starts raining threes like they've been doing lately, that momentum can get really difficult to contain. Another thing, Jalen Brunson is the real deal. He kind of reminds me a little bit of Kyle Lowry. And y'all remember Jameer Nelson? He's got some of that in his game too. So I originally thought coming out of Villanova he would probably be a very good backup point guard. But nah, he's ready for that starting job permanently. So this was a really good game. It had 9 ties and 11 lead changes. And I know there aren't any moral victories in basketball, but I think Brunson showing himself in this game and establishing himself as a legitimate secondary playmaker that should probably get more touches to take pressure off of Luka Doncic is a huge plus. And I think Porzingis especially is really starting to earn some of his confidence and respect back. Luka is such a generational talent, and Porzingis was criticized a lot, mostly by myself, for hanging around the perimeter too much, playing soft. And there was a legitimate time, if y'all can remember, when there was a debate between who's better between him and Joel Embiid. That's how he got the whole unicorn nickname in New York. So I'll try and not be a hater going forward because he still has the skills, but he just needs to be able to do this with Luka on the floor. Also, look at Frank Ntilikina, man. So inspirational. He was going to be on my part 2 video of NBA busts that I'm not giving up on. Check out my channel if you haven't seen that first part of the video. So I might just use footage from this game as evidence for that one. Not a whole lot from the Jazz perspective. They took care of business at the end of the day. Mitchell was big time as always, 33 points. Gobert held it down. I'm really impressed with Whiteside. He and Drummond are probably the best backup centers in the league right now. And Clarkson had a really rough shooting game, but as his fantasy owner, you don't usually see him contribute in other areas of the game. But wow, man, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, big time effort on the defense. Really got the crowd involved. I'm happy to see that from him. And Bojan Bogdanovic, he's such a bucket, man. Every time he shoots, I just feel like it's going in. I'll end this video showing some love to Mike Conley. I appreciate the hell out of Mike Conley, who is quietly, so quietly having a 50, 48, and 85% split season. He even leads the league with 43.5% on pull-up threes. And we're in the same league as Dame, Trae Young, and Steph Curry, by the way.